and welcome to the FMSL Podcast, Ep.8. I am Cameron, and we have got Chrissy with us again. Chrissy, how we doing?
Yeah, good. Cheers, Cam. Good to be back as always.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. It's been a while. So today we have our good friend Magnus joining us. Magnus is the manager of Freiburg in League One this season. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
That's no worries. It's always a pleasure. So, tell me about your season. So you started, you've come down from the championship, you've started, going again and making some transfers. So tell me about your transfers.
Well, thanks for the dig, first of all. Um,
You didn't mention about the Premier League, luckily.
yeah, exactly. I started off in the Premier League. It's been free fall ever since. I think I took advice from you at some point there, actually, come to think of it. Anyway, different story. No, it's been a decent transfer season now. So I've got some decent players in. Got a better balance. So I'm playing a slightly different tactic as well. So it's going much better than I anticipated. I had a first good double header, beating Haaland of all people. So can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain with that though. It's like, you get to play, you have to play the best at sometimes, and that was hard. But I remember who the advice was about now.
Go
It's
on then.
James Ward-Prowse.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was a big transfer. That shook me a little bit. I was asking for so much for Jude, and you did that, and then I was like, "Well, hang on, if he's worth that, then Jude's either worth higher, or you're just getting a lovely lump sum and running with it."
Well, the funny thing is, I mean, he's quite a few people's favorite player, right? So, and I can understand him from his set pieces, having 20, but he wasn't doing too much for me. But I suddenly got a very good midfielder, and then that bid came in, and then, well, you can't really say no. So I thought I'd ask around if that's a stupid fee for it, because some of the fees that have been brandished around this last transfer window was mental. And then you've got on the other flip side, people asking for top players for a fiver. So it was a really odd transfer window.
Yeah, it was a strange one. I mean, who did he sign to replace Jude Ward-Prowse? Actually, I can't
Soler.
actually remember.
I got
Yeah.
Soler on the right.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, I remember now. I mean, it's you've did well. I mean, I think you've recruited quite well. Maybe it'll be enough to keep you up this season, which it should really. Looking at my form and looking at Craig. Sorry, Craig, I brought you back up again. I get it for every time I mention him as well. But there's some teams who haven't probably strengthened as much as they would have liked, and are struggling now, and I am definitely one of those. But
I think you've had a great window, to be fair, Magnus. I mean, bringing in some more at the back, like say Danny Olmo and Carlos Soler, and then getting Adeyemi in the draft, which was a great pickup up front. How I mean, I see you won the first two games. A lot of contributions from them players.
Well, the striker did nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was absolutely useless. So it was my Weidman that provided the gameplay, and Olmo obviously popped up quite nicely a few times. So he's been pretty much. I've had him since my first team, actually, back in my Valencia days, and loved him ever since. So he's been that counterbalance from going forward. I usually play with two very wide high men, but sticking him behind the striker and letting him roam free has been the best thing I've done this season.
I think it's interesting hearing it from your point of view as opposed to just seeing it as it happened. Like we've spoke, for maybe the last 2-3 years, and every time I mean, this is no shame on you, by the way, because you are a very good manager, which we will get onto, by the way.
Here we go.
But no, like you have been, like last season, you spent pretty much all of it in League Two, sorry. And with a great squad as well, and it's a shame really because Andy's come and took your place now. Sorry, Andy, but it's one of those where it's interesting hearing it from your point of view because I know how much you love Olmo. I've seen every time I came and asked you like, no, go away. it's like, an expensive chunk of money. But like, you've built a pretty good side this season, and I think you built a pretty good side to start with, but I think you just got unlucky with who you ended up in the Prem with. But
Yeah. No, I think the
how,
tactics screwed me as well. I started off with, the traditional tactics. I'm not one for going online to look for tactics or look for inspiration or anything like that. I try to figure it out myself. But then there's a big difference between versus and the real game, right?
Agreed.
And I like to pay either positive or attacking. And it doesn't seem to work as well on versus against most teams. So I've just decided to try something completely random. Five in the middle or almost five in the middle. So, and it seems to be working out quite well. But I think the difference has been the balance of the team, having a bit of speed and a bit of creativity, but also having an attacking midfielder that actually can do something.
Yeah, it's definitely about finding the right balance. I do agree with that, especially tactic wise.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to play a system that you played in your normal offline saves, as you say, it doesn't always work in versus, which can be quite stressful. And sometimes you just got to tweak about. Sometimes you just got to take a gamble and just go for something
Yeah.
completely different, something you're not comfortable with, and yeah, it can pay off.
And fairness to Niall as well, I was going to give him a bit of credit here as well. He's always been volunteered for me to try my tactics on his teams. And weirdly enough, when I play him, I beat him every time almost. But then I go against the lesser teams that are not even in the Prem, I get smashed. And it's just infuriating,
Mm.
the inconsistency of the game. And I think probably that is the one thing I would want a big change for the game is a proper versus engine that will actually works on logic rather than random.
yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, with regards to getting friendlies with Niall, it's kind of um, he likes to play friendlies, but every time I'm playing, I'm the same. I'll beat him. Like the start of season 2, I played him maybe about 10 times. I think I beat him about 7 times. Like
Mm.
I was destroying him, and then I went to the cup. I had a few good results. Then I played a game in the league, and I got beaten. I'm going, how did I get beat? I beat him. I beat him. I beat him. But I know what you mean. What I'm running on, I believe it's FM22's versus engine. I believe if anybody would like to correct me, but I believe that's what it's still running on. So maybe it's a case of going back to FM22, getting some tactics files and importing them and see if they work.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
See,
it kind of feels I kind of feel like doing that sometimes because it's if it's not working now with all these new systems and all these new things, then maybe it is a way to go.
And it becomes a little bit annoying as well when you have some of these meta tactics as well that all the top best teams have a meta tactic, right? And no matter what kind of a team you have versus them, they'll destroy you. But if you look on paper, and I know real life versus football manager makes no sense, but even on the offline system, they wouldn't beat you. There isn't a chance in hell that they would beat you. And I think that is probably the most frustrating of it all. That as long as you have that one tactic and a kind of a good team, you are going to do well and end up in the Prem.
Yeah,
mm,
it's just it is the way it goes. I think obviously we've spoken about it before. Squad building is a huge part of it, and knowing, especially what we said, Rashmat knows and Mohammed, they just know what works, and fair play to them. I'm not gonna,
Yeah, God no.
but like they're just so good with it. But we have got to remember, you're not just a manager who likes to spend his time in League Two. You do like a good cup run. You do like a
oh,
good
does
cup
he?
Yeah,
run.
I do. I do.
Yeah, the king of the cup is ours.
King of the Cups.
And then
That's
you've
what
got
the title of the
yeah,
pod should be. King of the
king
Cups.
of the cups. Magnus is the king of the cups. Yeah, I like that. But you've done quite well in the cups. And what's your secret to it? Because there's a method to your madness. There's got to be.
I think I'm a little bit more liberal in terms of my tactics and what I go in for on the cup games because it's a free hit effectively. So I probably mix up my tactics a little bit more than I would in the league game. Overthink things a lot more in the league game rather than the cup, because you can try new things in the cup. You can try new players. You can try new movements for the players as well. Give them a free roll or shoot more often or whatever. Most of my teams usually play wide, and in the cup sometimes I play extremely narrow, and that focus through the middle seems to work out against some teams that have a lot of wide players, and it forces them to play a different kind of a game. Obviously, luck has a certain amount to play in it. Like the last game I played against Abdul, he's still whining about Van Dijk getting a red card and losing in overtime. Still
Love
has
it.
not said GG's, by the way. I'm just saying. Poor loser.
Ooh.
But no, I mean that in fairness to him, he was battering me for a while there. But that's what happens when you play dirty, I guess, eh?
Yeah, that's it. That is it. And like I say, I do think, and I want to ask the question as well, is do you think there's a difference between a league game and a cup game? Like, do they play out differently?
It kind of, if I'm doing well in the cup and not doing well in the league, I think it's quite obvious that yeah, there is something going on there. I had a conspiracy theory in the beginning that I thought Jake was at fault for everything. I think everyone blamed Jake for it, to be honest. It was kind of a running theme for a while.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
no, I
It's still
think
Jake's fault. Don't worry about that. It's still Jake's fault.
exactly. No, I think it's one of those things, really. I think there probably is something to do with the versus game in those two ways of setup as well, that it becomes um, a little bit more like the real game, maybe, I think. So it would be interesting if all games were played in cup mode, and you had to play each game individually and then reload and do that thing again. I think that would be a really interesting trial to see, does it make any difference to the gameplay or even for the results? Maybe I think it would, but maybe not. It would be very interesting to find out.
Yeah. Don't give Kev any more ideas, please. So, moving on swiftly. So how did you get involved with this league? Was it under the FMSL branch, or was it when it was under the previous directory of FMD?
It was Mr. Jake as stewardship that I came under. He was running the joint, I think, probably one of the first seasons even. I took over Valencia, won the cup actually that first year, and lost the league in the final. I think was it goal difference or 1 point? I think it was something really down to the wire kind of a situation. So it was really good, and that was streamed live as well. So that was a good laugh. Then I had Olmo, of course, and Gaia, and the whole Valencia setup was Kondogbia, and he's one of those players that also everyone wants, even though if you look at his stats, it doesn't look like anything, but he just pops up everywhere, really. But yeah, no, I got involved very early on, and it's kind of stuck with me. It's one of those. The first shot is free, I guess. It's good fun. It's infuriating. It's joyful, and you just keep coming back for some more pain. I guess it's one of those weird things in life.
Roller coaster of emotions.
It's like football.
Yeah, exactly. Like FM. But yeah, so you started off with Valencia. I don't know if we can cast your mind back a little bit. So would that have been FM 21 or
I think it was FM21. Yeah, it was something like that. Maybe even FM20.
I think it was 20.
Yeah,
I'm
it seems.
convinced it was 20. I wasn't in then, but I'm convinced it was
No,
20
yeah,
just
yeah. I think
because
it
I
became a.
joined in 21.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it was probably 20 then. But the I think as if we're talking about gameplay, I think the engine was better back then. So I think it was a lot more stable. You could predict things a little bit more. You didn't have those random 7-0 wins from League Two beating a Prem team 7-0, and you just don't understand where it is now. But back then, it kind of had some sense to it. And also with the current system, I think you win one, you lose one. It's almost a religious thing. So you win your away game and always lose your home game in the last season. So it's yeah, again, infuriating.
Yeah, so moving on to Chrissy's brand new little game
Oh,
show.
we're going for it, are we?
Oh yes, we are. So this is
Welcome to the
so
quiz, Magnus. You are the inaugural player.
First victim.
So basically, we're going to do a little quick fire quiz. We've been talking about it behind the scenes, and it's all FMSL FM related.
All
So
right,
it'd
go
be
on.
like player roles, tactics, deal wise things, all sorts of that. But we're going to time it because this is
Okay.
a quick fire quiz. So I just want one answer from you out of the two.
Oh, Jesus. All
So
right.
Cameron, hit me. Right, okay. Advance forward or complete forward?
Advanced.
Work ball into the box or are you going to hit early crosses?
Early crosses.
Inside forward or inverted winger?
Inside forward.
All right. Internal deals or external deals to the draft?
External.
Oh, okay. Permanent or mandatory loan?
I've gotten onto the bandwagon of mandatory loans.
Nice, I like that. Okay. Extended highlights or key highlights?
Oh, key. I cannot stand extended.
Good man. Good man. FMSL Cup or Heenan Cup?
FSML.
Yeah, okay. I think we're going to SFL. Well, no, we've got one more. Keep one more in. League win or cup win?
League win.
We've
Already won the
already
cup,
won
so.
cup. Fair play. Like it. Brilliant. Thank
Oh,
you
I
for
love
that.
that. I love that. So moving on to your goals for this season. Obviously, it is it's only game week 1. We have only played 2 fixtures, but what are your goals for this season? There's got to be something racking in your brain.
Well, I can't go for the hat trick, can I? I mean, if I get relegated again, I promise. Oh God, this is going to come back and haunt me. I promise not to play ever again because that will be just infuriating.
Please
with
don't
Yeah, but
say that. I can't
if you
lose you
get
now. I
relegated
can't
again,
lose you.
if think about it, Magnus. If you get relegated again, you can't get relegated after that. So
I know, but how low can you go, though, man? I mean, I've been on this game for how long now, and I can't stay in a league. It seems like they should call it League Magnus, not League Two.
I
League
mean, you
Pam and
say
Mag.
that. I
That
mean,
would go work.
you've.
That would work.
I think you've started off well this season against. Do you know what I mean? Haaland and Besiktas.
Yeah, Haaland
Got
and
2
Tony
wins
against
there.
pairs. That was just ridiculous. I thought they were going to tear me a new one. And that's when I again tried a little bit of cup tactics and it worked out and won both games. So I think that's probably the team that's to beat in this league in terms of pure brute force firepower. There are some
Yeah.
other teams with better midfields and better defenses and probably better tactics. But they can't buy a win, can they, Cam? But
Excuse me?
I heard the word best getting thrown around there. You sure you're on about Cam?
I don't think you're on about me, mate. I think you're mistaken.
But I mean, they look like they were close games. I mean, 4-2 in your first game and then 3-2 in the second game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they obviously put up a bit of a fight.
Yeah, no, they did. I mean, it was backwards and forwards. There were lots of highlights. There were lots of chances. So I think on the balance of it, he probably deserved a draw at least on one of them, if not a win. So a bit of luck this time around. But I think the tactics that I've chosen fit the team a little bit. I got a random loan in last minute, and he turns out to be an absolute beast as well, which is an odd random one. And even leaving Garvey on the bench at times. So no, it's a nice place to be in there suddenly with 2 wins early on. Hopefully I can keep that up and actually stay in the damn league.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you
it's a
will, to be
solid
fair.
start.
I mean, with my incompetence, Craig being Craig, there's only one spot left. You know what I mean? Like you can't fill that, surely. You know what I
And
mean?
don't forget, is coming down with me as well. So
Don't mention
You got to
Jimmy, he'll be
separate
after
sooner or
you, you
later.
know.
exactly.
See, me and Chrissy have
Holding
came up
hands.
together, so
Well, yeah,
I was
exactly.
hoping we'd hold hands together going up again as well. But obviously, you know, he's just leaving us again. fucking awful, man. But
It's still early days. Oi, it's still early days. I mean,
It is.
last FM, when I got promoted into League One, I lost my first 2 games first week.
well, I
I lost
didn't.
both of them, and
I got a
I
draw
still
and a
went up as
loss.
champ, and I still went up as champion. Just saying. So it
Well,
can happen. Believe,
please don't put
lads.
that pressure on
Believe.
me. Please don't put that pressure on me. But I just want to run back to something you said before about the cup fixtures and the tactics and stuff. A lot of people who have played recently in friendlies and whatnot have been playing either extremely attacking formations, or if they're terrifyingly scared of a 38-year-old Lionel Messi, play defensive football, like 5 or 7 at the back, what I would call a 7. Somebody played an 8 the other day. It was very interesting. Couldn't
Shit.
break them down no matter what I did. But
No.
do you think that when you're playing in a cup like that, you can test things like playing one holding midfield player with 2 inverted wing backs and then everybody else lumped up front, or what? Like, what's your limit?
I mean, I won't go nuts. I don't think that. I mean, in a one-off game, it won't tell you anything anyway. So you need to back that up with quite a lot of time doing friendlies with different teams. I think playing one team all the time is not a good way of finding out if the tactic works. I don't think a cup game will tell you too much either, because, as I said, I think the engine's is a little bit different than the league engine. The new rage in this version has been inverted. Everyone seems to be playing with it inverted, and it seems to be very, very effective. I don't like it. I don't like those roles. For some odd reason, I'm a traditionalist. I like those back four to be the back four, and maybe a 5 or a 3 in front. But I'll never go I'll never go defensive. If I'm losing 2-3-0, I'll just throw it at the wall
Throw
and
the
see.
sink at it. Yeah, that's it.
And there's no
Got
point doing
nothing
it
to lose.
otherwise. You start getting defensive in that situation. Although the engine might just suddenly, if you put it in cautious and then you score 5 goals, I would probably be even more pissed off for that actually happening. But no, I don't go too nuts. I'll try the odd one inverted winger, one inside forward. I don't play backup strikers. I don't play 2 up front. I don't play anything too crazy. I try to stick to principles that I've been brought up with football anyway. So and seems to work okay, apart from these
I
last
love that.
freaking seasons.
So what you're saying is, when I play either Mohammed or James in the next round of the FMSL Cup, I've not got to go mental.
No, I don't think so. I think you just play it slightly different. I mean, you've got the best midfielder in the game, so
Sandro Tonali, obviously.
yeah, of course. But I put them 2 in as volantes and see what happens. I mean, they've got the characteristics for it, so why not go for something stupid like that?
I mean, that's suicidal, but I will try it, I'm sure.
Yeah, one support, one attack. You're laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I hope I beat whoever I play, because I'm skinned. Just moving on to one of the final things on this. What is one of your favorite things about the league? Obviously, everybody has their favorite thing, and I kind of just want to know what yours is.
Well, the banter's pretty cool. I have to turn off the chat every now and then, because I'm in meetings at work and it goes mental with chats, and then it comes up on my laptop as well in presentations, and that's an interesting one to explain to customers as well. So, but I think my favorite thing is that it's consistently annoying. I think that's probably one of my favorite things, that you have a consistency amongst people. You've got different groups in the leagues, and you've got this. Everyone has a character. Everyone is a little bit different. Somebody says something, and then the bandwagon has well and truly started. So the banter is I think for me is huge. But it's a good way of just getting away from reality a little bit sometimes, and playing a game of Football Manager and trying to explain to the missus that yes, these are people, and yes, this is a thing. Yes, they are real. It's just, yeah, But it's a great excuse to get away a bit as well. I really enjoyed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't stay for this long. Although I've been very close a few times.
Haven't
Don't
we
blame
all?
me. Don't blame me
Yeah.
because I've been there a couple of times. I know there was one question for you that we didn't get in on the on Chrissy's little video.
Quick
So,
fire.
who is your favorite player in the whole of FMSL or
I mean, if you look back at my transfer history, there's one player that I always want. Any ideas? He's a left back.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's
Oh, is it Spanish?
He's Spanish.
Is it
you
Gaia?
mentioned him before.
It's
Yeah, it's
Gaia.
Gaia.
Yeah, I
Correct.
remember you having before.
I think
Great
in
player.
every season up until the last 3 or 4, I've always gone for him first. He's a beast in the game if you put him on the right stats and put him on the right position. The crosses he gets up and down, he's an absolute maniac.
I love that. I
He's
love
class.
that. Well, Magnus, thank you very much for joining us. We do really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to
Yeah,
playing
thanks,
against
Magnus.
you in the next few weeks. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we've all
I
got to
hope
play
so.
each other.
Yeah, we will. I will. And if you're ever in Sweden, let me know.
I will do. Don't you worry
Pleasure.
about that. I'll be taking that one up. So I just want to
Well,
thank.
look what you've done now, Magnus. Look what you've done. You regret saying that.
I didn't tell him where in Sweden, did I?
I'll find out.
Brilliant.
But thank you very much to Chrissy also for joining us on this episode of the FMSL podcast. I just want to have a big shout out to you guys for getting us over 100 subscribers in the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit of a hard slog for us. We're trying to churn out the content as much as possible, but it really wouldn't be possible and worth doing without you people watching. Whether you're watching on your TVs, your tablets, whether you're watching on your mobile, going to work, or listen to the podcast on Spotify, we really do appreciate that. But please like and subscribe as much as possible because we want to get them numbers up there. I want to be producing more content for you guys as well. So I
We'll
just want
definitely
to
get you
say,
back on, Magnus, if you fancy it.
I'll come back, no worries.
oh, we'll
Good
definitely get
man.
you back on, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I want to thank you everybody for joining us today on the FMSL podcast, and we'll see you somewhere down the road.
Cheers.